If I was to ask you to imagine the characters of Helluva Boss as if they were real, what would you say they'd look like? I think they'd look hell of a terrifying, I'd say.
That's a bit overkill, don't you think?
I decided to take matters into my own hands and draw them myself. I actually had to do a little bit of research beforehand, as turning an animated style into a more realistic one can be tricky. For starters, all of our imp characters have no nose, or ears either, but in my extensive research using good old Google, I found that they do at least have noses. Sometimes. There are 2 moments where Blitz has a nose.
They're filling this room with something.
Oh, and we also have an example for that with Moxxie too.
I smell colors.
If you find any more examples, let me know. So I'm left with 2 options. Either the lack of a nose is a stylistic choice, or this is just a moment for comedic effect, and they just don't have noses. I find the former option more appealing, as it gives them a rather intriguing Voldemort-esque aura. That, however, the same cannot be said for the ears. As far as I could determine, there are no moments where the imp's ears are depicted, so I figured the imps might be more similar to birds or lizards, where their ears are rather hard to see, or at least they're not as obvious as our great big ears. Though I did stumble upon some theories that imps actually hear with their horns, and it's why Fizzaroli knows sign language in the first place, as his 2 horns were nearly completely burnt off, leaving him hearing impaired, rather like me. Minus the whole burning bit, that is. But as a hearing impaired artist like myself, I must say it is, pretty neat. I don't exactly know sign language, but I appreciate it. Oh, also the white skin on these characters are caused by scarring and burns and that type of thing. I think it's pretty well known, but I just thought I'd add that. It is interesting as these freckles on Moxxie's might actually be some kind of ritualistic scarring perhaps. Though I could well imagine that these markings were perhaps forced on Moxxie by his dad, as that probably wouldn't be too out of character for him. But anyway, knowing the similarities to lizards and birds, it made me wonder if there was something more to it, perhaps suggesting they are modelled after them. These imps do kind of move their tongues like snakes or something, and it would explain Blitz's very angular head shape if compared to the head shape of lizards. There's a similarity, although Moxxie and Millie's head shape is much more normal, more round, so I kept these 2 characters' head shapes a bit more realistic. So with my extensive research done, I set to work, and as per usual, I tried creating each character in just 1 hour. So without further ado, this was my interpretation of the characters of Blitz, Moxxie, and Millie. I loved making these characters. I really enjoyed trying to get the cartoon art style to fit with my own art style. When I make fan art of cartoon characters, it is often a bit of a challenge, as trying to put a more realistic stance on cartoon art styles means you have to be a bit more creative than usual, and takes a bit more artistic license than with the original designs. But I think Helluva Boss really works in particular. Look at how dark the setting really is. I mean, they are demons and all, and my love for dark fantasy creatures and settings only fuels my passion for this endeavor. What do you think? Are these characters how you'd imagine them? Should I draw the other characters too? Ooh, maybe even the characters from Hazbin Hotel. Alright, that's it. I'm done. I'm ending the video now.